This is probably one of my favorite times to observe my treasure lagoon. As you can see here um, on the right side, this is where the east is, where the sun rises, and every morning I get this beautiful sunlight coming from the east. It only lasts a couple of hours. It's longer throughout the winter time or fall time just because the sun is lower. And this is one of the reasons why I've programmed my blades not to come on before, I'd say, noon. I really want to enjoy and observe the tank as if it would be lit under natural light. I remember back in the day there were uh, a few threads on Reef Central and then later on Reef to Reef of sunlit tanks, and they have always fascinated me because this is where you can really see the real colors or true colors, as Cindy Lauper would say. And I go back and forth between the blue and the all those beautiful fluorescence of corals, and then the natural look, the true colors of every coral under the sun. So I really like to observe this, and you can see this island here. This is all torches, and these are all like super fancy torches, New York Knicks and golden this and grail that. But when you look at it under just regular light, it looks like absolutely nothing fancy, but at the same time, probably one of my favorite looks. I can imagine as if I'm snorkeling somewhere shallow and just seeing these corals in nature. So I do like this look a lot. And you can also see that just because the tank is starting to wake up, there is some extra tentacles that do come out. This is where the corals have been feeding earlier in the day, overnight. And even the anemone, look at that. Let's actually take a look from this side over here. We can get that look. That is just gorgeous. Look at that sunlit color. Isn't that pretty? Oof, I got a vermitid snail there. It's doing its business. You see this little fine line sticking out? This would be a vermitid snail just getting its mucus out, and it's probably going to sting a few individuals in the tank. Now, look at the other mess that I have going on there right now. I see those anemones stuck at the bottom of those two formations. I gotta do something about it. And speaking of what oh, and before I switch gears here, look at the fish. Now this is the look I'm talking about, right over here. See, this little azure damsel is basking in the daylight. This is pretty awesome. Very, very natural. Oh, yeah, it's coming out right over here. Same with the pineapple. So some of the corals you can see are just beautiful without any fluorescence, and I do admire this a lot. Now this part of the tank is not yet lit by the sun, but there's some light in the camera. It does pick it up, and this is again where, how good is that? This is without being lit by any artificial light, and this is the true rendition of the color. This is as good of a perception of a color that you can get inside of the tank. That is just gorgeous. Look at that teal. I don't think I've really noticed it as much. Look at that teal line on the blonde Nassau. Or look at the my favorite, absolute favorite fish of them all, the powder blue. That guy is simply stunning. Simply the true specimen. And if you go back in some of the videos, you can remember when I got him, I thought he was a goner, and for a while he was not doing well at all. And it was a bit of luck, also persistence, and really the feeding that have helped me get him to be as healthy as he is right now. So I gotta say thank you to my friend Felix, who showed me how to prepare that food. But I do think that that enriched dry food was the reason why he is doing so well. And here's another fish. Now, unfortunately, these two guys are not getting along. So while so the powder blue is starting to turn out to be a bit of a bully, and I gotta do something about it. Now, there's a few thoughts that I have on this, but um, maybe there's a bigger tank in near future. I don't know. But that would be nice. I want to get to see fish in bigger confines than just a 5-foot aquarium. But we'll talk about it more soon. Now, in today's video, my goal is to take care of this set of corals. As you can see, so all of these guys have gone through rigorous quarantine. So this is all versions of Acropora, and I have dipped them many times, have gone them through quarantine, examined them, and you've seen them in the previous video where I talk about this and I show the dipping. But in today, what I really want to do is try to mount them onto one of the rocks. As you can see, the rocks are all covered with other corals, but maybe, and I'm just thinking out loud right now here, maybe I'll take this rock in the middle and I don't know, should it be this rock? I gotta figure out a place where I'm gonna mount them. As you can see, this formation is starting to get a little bit unsightly. This is just so much of the LPS. I gotta pick between one of those 3 rocks. So I've got this one here, this one, and this one, which is a little bit of my torch garden. And speaking of torches, I have one torch that has fallen off, so I need to affix it onto the garden as well. But maybe I will start with the rock in the middle, and I will make it my SPS rock, at least for a little bit. There's not that many corals in here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corals on the top shelves. I will probably keep this beautiful pineapple fuzzy Nephthia, just because it's I'm used to where it's at right now. Or I could potentially bring one more rock formation and put it right over here, because there's a little bit of an open space. So I don't know yet how I'm going to deal with it, but first things first, I need to actually take all of these corals and I want to peg them. So I want to attach little acrylic rods to the bottom of it using epoxy and glue. And then once they are ready, I will cure them for a few hours so that they are sturdy, and then we'll start dealing with where it's going to go. But I think I want to really document this process and document my thinking through this as I work on this tank. My goal is to get this tank a lot to the next level. I think it's good and it looks good. There's lots of flowy stuff, but I think we can do better, and that would be my goal. All right, let's start doing a little bit of pegging. So I use, I think this is D2D H2O putty, just regular one. Unfortunately, I do have to now always wear gloves, as I talk about it in my other videos. So my hands never go into the tank except for very rare occasions without putting the gloves first. And when I put a glove on, I will always use a little bit of a protection here with a band so the water doesn't go in. But before we actually are going to even do that part, I think I'm going to prepare some of the putty. There's always cutters nearby if I need them, and this is what the pegs look like. This is the acrylic rod. I think it's 1/4 inch, 1/8, somewhere there. This is where the long piece is, and I just snap off a piece. The piece is about 1.25 inches, give or take, and this is what it will look like as the end result. This has come off from one of the coral. So our goal is, and sometimes I reuse this, depending on a particular coral, I may just, instead of throwing it out, I will reuse it, you know, when the coral either falls off or dies. So I've got a few pieces here. Let's snap off one more piece, because there's at least 7 of those, so I kind of score it, and it snaps off somewhere. Here it is. And I will need some paper towel, because without paper towel, well, it's gonna get messy. So some paper towel, we've got some scoring, and there is glue. And you'll see what I need the glue for eventually. But one thing to consider here as well is that you can only use a certain amount of putty at one time. I try to make maybe 3 pieces at a time, just because otherwise they will cure, and you know, although it's tempting to do all, say, 7 pieces, I'll do it in 2 batches. Here is I always try to have the same amount of both. So here we are. And one other little trick is I try to use only one hand for kneading, and that is because it starts to get pretty dirty, and before I'm going to put my hand in the water, I'll have to change my gloves, because look at all that residue right over here. So that residue will mark the corals, and I don't want it on the corals. Plus, I don't really want some extra of that in the water column either. So we've got pretty large chunk here. Going a little bit more. It's a good workout for the forearms as well. Maybe sometimes I'll help it the other side, but I try not to do too much. And we're almost done. So got a few pieces here, and I might actually reuse some of the older chunks as well. So here's a good piece, 1, 2, and maybe the 3rd one. So anything small can actually go on the existing piece, but we will see. I don't really know until I actually start doing it. Okay, so we've got a few pieces. make these balls. 1, 2. Okay, maybe let's get a little bit greedy and do 4 of those and see where this is going to take us. So this is the 4th one over here. Now, this glove goes off. New glove goes on. I don't like these ones as much, the U-line one. I don't think I will ever buy these again. They are not as nice. And now we will take the band on and get the coral out. So I'll go and try to get at least 4 pieces out, but maybe more. So we've got these 2 guys. These are the big ones. Let's maybe focus on the big ones first and see how many we can find. Okay, so quite a few. Now, another little trick here is to try and dry these pieces. Okay, so let's start with this guy first. Get the base going. Get this, and I think actually this little guy, we take a little bit of glue, press it down like this, and then we do a sandwich on the other side, and maybe I will reuse one of these containers here, sorry, one of these pegs here. So maybe go with the smaller one, just like that. See? Do this, maybe press it in a little bit more. We've got ourselves the first piece. Now, you got to be careful here not to disturb it. Okay, the next one, let's go with the big one. It's this one here. I will apply a little bit of glue. It doesn't matter which side you apply it to. So here is the piece. And now I'm going to, let's say, use this guy here. No, this is too much. Maybe this guy here. Like this. Beautiful. So that would be my second piece. This is the yellow tort, as somebody told me it is. Okay, let's do the big one now. So the big one, placing it right over here, like this. Am I going to fit it with this little guy? Or, you know what? I'll show you how to do one clean. So I press it down, add a little bit of a glue here. Notice I'm working very fast because it's going to start curing soon. So this is the 4th piece right here. It's looks pretty good. Very nice. And then finally, I got one more piece that I can use. I've got a couple of little guys and one of the bigger ones. So yeah, I don't know what I want to do with this guy. Okay, let's maybe do this. Yeah, that might actually work. So apply this here. Now apply this one over here and see how we're using this very big chunk from the older coral. But I think this looks actually pretty nice. Oh, and we've made a little frag. I don't think it's big enough to keep. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 corals mounted. There's a little bit of a piece here that I think we can break off. Okay. And off we go. All right. So 4 pieces are done. There is 1, 2, 3 here that are left. I'm gonna take this into water and just put them on the ground, on the sand, so that they can start curing. Usually it takes about a couple of hours to really not worry about it. I think I could get away with a lot less, but right now that's what we are going to do. Okay, first part is done. Now we're gonna do this again, and this time I will have to change the glove once again. So you see we go through a lot of gloves here, and because I don't like this glove as much, one of the reasons I don't like this glove as much is because it's going to be pretty hard to put on. So always pick the gloves that you find are suitable for what you do. Okay, so we did 4 of those. We're gonna do another 4, and I think I'm going to just use the rest of my putty. So I'm gonna have to work very fast once again. And while I do this, I can actually count how many pegs I have. And I have 3 pegs, but there is one more coral that I need to address, and that is, remember that torch that we saw on the ground? I think for whatever reason it got shifted, it got bumped, and unfortunately has dislodged from its own peg. Okay, so as I'm kneading with one hand, I think I can reuse this guy for maybe the big colony right over here, and then the little ones are gonna go for these 2, and then I'll have to make one more peg for the torch, and then we're gonna be done. So 4 corals at a time. This is roughly, and look at how stained, you can really see it on the blue gloves, how stained this is. So when you touch your coral here, it is inadvisable. I find that it marks the skin of the coral, and obviously is not a good thing. I better get a little bit more putty at some point because I'm running out, but that's going to be okay for what we do next. Okay, do 4 more of these bowls. Maybe do, oh, my hand is starting to cramp up a little bit. Okay, so 1, I'll do 2 maybe of the smaller pieces, and 2 of the bigger ones. There's no particular science to this, but it's roughly what I go for. So 2, 3, and 4. Been a while since I've been going to reef, just because I've been so busy, but when I started out in this hobby, I really have been going there regularly, and I still miss the community, but now it's, Facebook groups, and I don't know. Curious what is the best way to go about getting information nowadays, other than the kind of podcasts? Is it still reef to reef? Do people use Facebook groups instead? I just find that it takes so much of my time that I don't have time to go and peruse the different forums as much, and especially the Facebook, because the signal to noise is, see this is what I'm talking about. This is too cumbersome. I think I regret getting these gloves so much. Yes. Anyways, apply a little bit of glue. This time we're gonna go a little bit faster, so I'm trying not to make a mess. So take the big piece here, wipe it, We were gonna do the smaller one just because it's gonna go onto an existing frag, so, or peg. This is placing it on the other side, and off we go. I don't know, that doesn't look too bad. Hopefully it will grow over this quickly. This is what it looks like right now. So we've got one. Notice I'm placing it on the other side. Okay, this one is a tiny one. So we'll use the smaller piece here. Gotta do the peg. So take the peg, press it down first, put a little bit of glue inside. You can see I've been doing this for a while now, and off we go. So this is your second coral, or my second coral. It's not your second coral yet. Okay, do the third one. This one here. We're gonna do the peg once again. Do this, press it down, glue, and it looks like we will need one more peg, so we'll get on top of it shortly. But this is the fourth one, sorry, third one. And now the fourth one, remember, it was the torch. So for the torch, before we're gonna do this, we're gonna cut a little, one more peg, maybe right around here. Let's see if I can do this without, okay, still gets thrown out, but, or plastic, oh, here it is. Okay, so I got the last piece. Band-aid goes on. Getting these three guys in and the torch out. So doing this, where's the torch? Torch is right here. And here is the torch. Now the torch is gonna get wet and slimy. So this is one of the reasons we use trays. So wipe it up, wipe it out, press it down. Here it is. Now take the peg that I've just prepared, press it down, put a little bit of glue, get the peg in, and now just gently press it on a few sides like this, and we are good to go with the torch. So the torch goes back in, and we are done with the pegging. So the pegging was the easier part of this process. The tough part is going to be figuring out how to get all of this mounted. I don't have any space, as you can see, but we'll try to prevail here as well. So let's give it a couple of hours to cure and go from there. Are you ready to do some pegging? Well, one of the downsides of my current lighting is the fact that I cannot get anything out of the tank unless I remove one of my blades. So this, I do love this mount because it's such a low profile, and I shot a whole video on that. But the downside is, as you can see, I've decided to focus on this rock in the back there, and which is also pegged, and I've removed it, and then I couldn't get it out of the tank. So I have removed one of my blades, just put it aside, and now I think we are ready to start working on it. And what my plans are here is taking that rock that has two different montes on it, and I'm going to remove those montes. I'm going to completely take them out, and then I'm going to re-peg or make holes in this particular plate and make enough holes to cover and add every single one of these corals. Hopefully it will work itself out. So with that said, let's get going. The gloves are on and should be as easy as reaching down and grabbing this little guy over here. There's a lot more space, which is nice. Let's hope I will not break the glass, and the rock is out, which is great. Oh, look at this guy over here. So much. Oh, there's a little bit of extra water that I can probably put in back in there. So, okay, let's get to work. I do need my cutters here. Let's get to work. First, I need to remove some of the corals here that I have had before. So there's one. Oh, there's some pegs here that I must have put in a while ago. Anyways, but it's this colony here that is my biggest concern. I don't even know where to start. Let's try to break off some of the nuisance pieces as well. Oh wow, that guy is massive. What did I get myself into? And just in general, I keep asking myself that question a lot with this hobby. You think it's all glamorous? It is not, and unfortunately all these influencers don't show the sucky side of this hobby. That beautiful tank that you see in some Instagram posts is very elusive. A very elusive view. Look at that. Oh, okay, one piece out, which is great. So I think we're gonna be putting the new corals here. New pieces. Wow. What am I gonna do with all this coral eventually? I don't know. Okay, there's another piece right here. One more. I've got this leather coral as well that I need to yank out somehow. But we haven't got to that point yet. Oh wow. Look at all the growth. So, influencers. Yes, there's it's a full-time job. And I definitely don't have time for that. So, I'm going at it from a different direction. Very gritty and down to earth. Did I pick the right cutters for this? I don't know, but we're almost there. I think I'm going to place the... Oh, yes. Okay, that's better. In hindsight, maybe I could have also used a screwdriver, like a flat screwdriver. I think this is what sometimes people do, but here we are. Almost there. And I can put all those pieces of coral not into the main tank right now, but into the sump. So this way they don't use up my sand bed. Look at all the vermeted snails there, eh? Gonna have to do a little bit of cleanup of that as well eventually. So, but one thing at a time. Okay, we've almost done. Are we almost done? Not sure. This is a lot more work than I expected. Okay, before we are gonna take care of the rest, I want to open up the skimmer door, sorry, the sump, and throw the rest of the corals, these freshly cut corals, into the sump. This way they're gonna stay nice and healthy in the water, not disturbed, and this will give me enough time to focus on the rest of the tank and rock. I think I'm gonna throw out a lot of pieces here anyways. Okay, back at it. We are down to this rock over here. And with this guy, there's a couple of nasty nope, doesn't even want to cut like this. And I don't want to hit it. Okay, so how do I go about the rest of the rock? Just goes to show you, this is all the alkalinity that I've been supplying to the tank over the years. And actually this particular growth, I think it's less than a year. Just goes to show you how quickly some of the corals grow. The ones that you not necessarily want to be growing the fastest are the ones that are gonna be growing the fastest, and the most beautiful corals are, they take forever. Okay, I gotta do something about this leather coral because it is lodged in here. Okay, get him out. Beautiful. And I think we are good because if I got this coral out, the rest of the rock, I don't have anything here that is super important, and I can take my time cleaning this up, getting rid of any nuisance growth. And you can see, oh, look at that. I've got 2 holes in here already from one of my previous pegging experiments. I have pegged this rock in the past, but this goes to show you that unless you are in the water all the time addressing those pesky growth that keeps going, it's like gardening, then you are going to be left with what I'm left here. Okay, we're almost there. So this is the bottom part. There is actually, I can see 1, 2, 3 holes already, which is great. And I'm sure, knowing me, I would have made at least 8, 9 holes in this rock. But I've let it go, and this is what we ended up with. So I need, because I've cut 7 corals, I need to make at least 7 holes here right now to make sure that the corals are, okay, let's not cut myself. Oh my. Okay, this is a lot tougher than I thought it would be. Once again, if you are new to the hobby, think twice and don't do what I do, because you will, don't go for bigger tanks. I should know better, but this is where I am at. And this is what I was talking about, the glove. the glove is all shot up. It's been 7 hours and 15 days since I started working on that rock, but I think I got it. So this is the end result. Let's see if I can show you. I've made 8 holes in here. I found a couple of old holes that I already have, and I have this little pegging tool that I can just test them all out. But here we are, so 8 holes, and I can now put it inside of the tank. It's gonna get a little bit messy, which is fine. See that hole in the middle of the tank? This is where it's gonna go on top of the other peg. So let's see if I can get it in the water there. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Here we are. I think the pegging is done. And now that we have this rock, I just need to find every hole before I forget and apply coral one by one. So let's start with a couple of rocks over here. A couple of corals over here. So coral number 1. So the first coral is in. Let's start with a couple of more corals, maybe something on the smaller side, so we can fit it right next to it. So you see where I have that little peg. This is an easy way for me to yank one coral and put the other one in right here. So this is one more. We've got this big hole in the back, and this is where maybe this tall coral is gonna go. So that is 3. Now they're a little bit on the brown side, but that just is because I have kept them. They've gone through lots of quarantine, and then they've been under low light. That is why. Okay, we've got this center spot here. We've got a place somewhere here, I think. Do we? Okay, let's get something in the middle first. Maybe we can go with the big coral in the middle and one more on the side. So let's take this guy, put him all the way in the middle, just so. Yeah, look at all the brown. I'm not worried at all, but I can see how some people would think that this is not the best option. Okay, so we've got hole here, 1. We've got hole in the middle, 2. We've got hole here. Maybe I didn't make a hole all the way onto the side. So it's also interesting. Sometimes when you make these holes, you think that you see the whole rock, but when this thing is in the water, it feels completely different, and just that's one of the challenges of the aquascape. Okay, unfortunately, it doesn't want to go in there very well. So let's put him into this little crevice right now. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I think I did 8 holes. So 1, 2. There's got to be one more in this corner here. There's no way I would have let it go without it. So let's go from the top. Yeah, I think I see it right over here. So that is where the hole is. That's one thing that I've learned after keeping this system is using this long rod. Okay, so right here. So we have 1, 2, and 3. And we have 2 acros left, and then 1 torch, which so far I don't have a good place to put it, so maybe we're gonna put it somewhere on the same panel for now. Now, that is not where it's gonna go long term, but for now it might. Okay, so let's see if this is where the hole was. And this is another thing, the moment you look away, finding that hole is starts to get really tricky. Okay, so once again, let's see where that hole is. Okay, oh, it's right here. So maybe get this guy in, and then we have one more hole here, so maybe this guy is gonna go here. And finally, we've got one more place where potentially a torch may go. But okay, now that I've placed almost all of them in, I can experiment with the positioning, because it's easy for me to move things around now. So one thing I'm finding right away is, although these corals are not touching, it will be problematic longer term, because eventually they will touch and I need to make space, so I'll have to play a little bit with that. Having said that, I'm going to maybe put the big coral all the way in the back there. And ideally what wants to go in the back is any like tort or any coral that is branching up. And maybe at some point I will do it this way. But for now, we've got this. We've got a space for one more coral, potentially. We don't need to use it right away, but we might. So what I can do is maybe take this bonsai, place it in there, because it's kind of tiny. Well, this is the end result, at least for now. This will make do. The only thing I'm not happy about is the torch. There's no way I can fit it in there right now. But everybody else is doing okay, and maybe this is the time when I consider moving a torch into my farm, which also has a pegging system. But I think all of these torches are not the same kind, so it would be a bit of a shame. I'll give it a little bit of time and go from there. And this is the end result. I finally ended up picking the fourth rock formation from the left, because I figured this one had some other SPS corals that I didn't want to have, and I started with that. I'm shooting it under the blue light, so you can actually see some of the glow that's happening, and this is an awesome way to enjoy the tank in the evening. This is where everything starts to fluoresce, and we started the video with the sunlit tank. It's kind of 14K light throughout the work, and I think it's a great way to finish today's video with a night shot and to admire a good job well done. Now this is just the beginning. There's so much more that I want to do with the tank, including at some point getting underneath this rock and getting those anemones out, but I'll leave it to another day. For now, I think I'm pretty happy. I will probably need to do something about the flow, because keep in mind this monstrosity of a tank, this 5-foot tank, is only flow is 2 Nero 7 power heads on 2 sides, and yet there's obviously more than enough flow for the anemones and the torches and the different types of euphyllia. However, now that I'm putting some SPS in here, this is probably where I need to rank it up a little bit. So that will happen at a later date. For now, I'll just leave it be. I already have some thoughts for the next set of improvements. Take one of the islands, either this one in the middle or this one on the left. I think one of them is going to go next, and I will place another set of SPS corals in there, and then maybe do something more in front and just keep doing. I think I'm ready to take this tank to a different level. I've taken a bit of a breather with this aquarium by focusing on my SPS system and just doing this as a lagoon. But you know what? I think I miss my SPS, so I want more of the colorful sticks in there. And the tank, for some reason, I gravitate towards a mixed reef. I want a little bit of both in this world. I want the movement, and I want a bit of a challenge, and I want those crazy colors. Now again, those corals will very soon start to really shine. Notice that some of them were a little bit brown, but we've moved them up, and right now the tank is lit by 3 blades. I think this is how I'm going to keep running it. I don't even know if I could fit one more blade. I guess I could if I wanted to. Should I do one more grow or one more glow? Right now I've got 3 grows in here, and this is the ones that I keep always recommending. I don't know. Maybe I'll just add one more glow to get a little bit more of that deep violet. But we'll have to wait for some time before this happens. I find that it's extremely hard to work on the tank right now, as you have seen. But the future plans will have to wait. Stay tuned, and I'll talk more about my vision for this aquarium, and I'll see you next time. Meanwhile, if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe to this channel as I continue documenting my journey. And there are links below where you can see all the details about my aquarium. Until next time.